Hello friends, the birds are in chorus in the background and they're signalling me to record a video right here. It's funny actually, I've just had a text message from somebody that I met very early on when I moved back up here, and was one of the people that I thought, I'm the one messaging him most of the time, so I'm going to leave it for a little while and test basically whether anybody will actually proactively contact me. And the funny thing is, in setting that intention, I've actually had quite a few people, a good sort of half dozen people, get in contact with me and think, just ask, and ask and you will receive. So it's a nice thing. Not going to sugarcoat this, ladies and gents. I had a hyper feminized upbringing. I had obviously my father, who was around but wasn't around because much of the time was at work earning all the money for us that we were never actually very grateful for. But mum and sister at home, and during the school holidays, my mum's older sister would come and visit us with her two daughters. So it's women. And I'm not saying that this was a good or a bad thing, but you know, everything's cause and effect. Everything has consequences. And I've started rereading, I think I mentioned it a while ago, that I started rereading Iron John by Robert Bly, and it's a book I've read before. It's about men and masculinity, and it addresses a lot of these issues from the 60s and 70s onwards, that we've had an enormous softening of men. You know, this idea that masculinity, and we're seeing the effects of that enormously now in the sort of past and passing culture wars of toxic masculinity and misogyny, and it's all bollocks. It's all obviously bollocks, but it's the pendulum swings to and fro from different states, you know, from happiness to woe. And what I've realized is that for much of my life, most of it, frankly, I've been a good little boy, compliant, respectful, polite. It's a weird word, isn't it? Polite, politics. This is how things are done in our household. And it's, you know, it's been a bit of a shit show, frankly. Because you need to get things done. I mean, and when I know I say this phrase a lot, but it can mean different things. And included in getting things done is actually dealing with things rather than pressing them down and down and down until they're in the absolute dungeons of your being. And I remembered an experience yesterday, we'll call it an incident actually, that in reference to one of the cousins I mentioned earlier in this video, that she and I were driving back from having gone swimming, I think, in Chesterfield. And we were driving down the road, and I can't remember the exact circumstances, but we crashed quite badly along sort of on a ditch, into a ditch on the side of the road. And it was such an impact that the tyre of one of the wheels actually partly exposed the metal of the wheel. And we were playing music in the car. And very, very obediently, I turned it off. And when later and the thing is, we drove back. Some of it quite uphill, with the cranking of the wheel, excruciating, horrendous noise. And when we got home, and my cousin was obviously really annoyed, as she often was. It wasn't a one-off occasion or occurrence. But later, when she was reflecting upon the incident, she was saying to my mum, oh, he's well trained. He turned off the radio. And that's kind of how a lot of my life has gone, you know? Always sensitive to the needs of others. As I was writing about this experience in my blog post earlier today, I said, God, the noise must have been excruciating for the people outside of the car. Always thinking about other people. It was bad enough, the noise inside. And I thought, well, whenever I noticed this the other day, had some really powerful therapy sessions recently, really fabulous. The last 2 or 3 have been really transformational, actually, releasing a lot of these ghosts. And one of the ghosts is anger, big anger, rage at certain things that have happened, the rage that I felt against certain people. It really you wouldn't want to get into my head, believe me, when, you know, I was talking about this stuff. But I've kind of forgotten what I was saying previously. But always thinking about the other people. And, oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. That when I was walking around on my walk a few days ago, thinking, whenever I think about something or relate something about myself, my instinct is always to say, oh yeah, but you know, it was bad for me, but you know, there are loads of other people in this position. It's a really powerful urge to minimize, frankly, what I myself have been through. I always want to say, oh, well, the thing is, you know, my ex-boyfriend was a shit to me, but he treated everybody badly. And so, well, yes, but it's none of my business. It's nothing to do with me, how it affected other people. But it's such a programmed and conditioned response that I really do want to get rid of. And I'm at the beginning of that path, but I by no means, you know, at the end of the tunnel. And the thing is, I'm sort of aware of the irony of saying schedule your one-to-one coaching session with me. But the truth is, I think that we can, like with this guy texting me just before I started recording this, we learn through doing. You don't really know how to do something until you teach it. I'm certainly realizing that myself. And I know that I am pulled towards helping other people because I know that there is going to be an auxiliary benefit to me. But make the switch that this will be good for me and it will help me live my life better. Don't subjugate yourself to the needs and whims and behavior of other people. Don't do it. It's your life. I say it all the time. I'm reminding myself all the time. Martin, it's your life. Martin, it's your life. Whoever you are watching this, it's your life. Because people say, oh yeah, that's obvious. No, it's not. It's not obvious. Because if it were, you would behave in a way that would suggest it's your life. That would show people that you're living your life. People don't. We do. I mean, I'm going to give in to the urge. Most people do give in to the urge to please other people. But look at the results. And look at the results in your own life where you're falling down and you're on your knees begging to other people to approve of you, to accept you, to trust you, to value you. You've got to do it first for yourself. And I know, in saying that, I know that I need to do it far more and learn how to do it because it's bizarre to me and weird and uncomfortable. Uncomfortable in the extreme to live my life the way that I want to do it. But I know that in doing so, I will be freer, more peaceful, happier, more productive, have more meaning in my life, fulfill my sense of purpose. Think about it for yourself.